Here's my first 100 animal words. And this is a pretty interesting book with a lot of interesting details in it. There's a lot to learn. Let's get started. Oh, look, the Arctic is where it's very cold. And here's some animals that live in the Arctic. Here is a caribou with big antlers on its head. And here is a walrus with big teeth called tusks. And this is a narwhal, and it has a giant tooth. It's kind of like a small whale. Here's a snowy owl, an Arctic fox. Here's an Arctic hare. And these animals are lightly colored, kind of white, so that they can camouflage into their surroundings, which is very snowy. Here's North America. There's a black bear and a brown bear and a polar bear. I've seen brown bears and black bears in the mountains. Here's a beaver. Beavers build dams and block up rivers. And here's a river otter. And they're calling these animals semi-aquatic because sometimes they're in the water, but sometimes they're not in the water. And here's a bobcat and a bald eagle. Where I live, there's bobcats and bald eagles. And this is a mosquito. Sometimes it bites your skin. And this is an earthworm. Worm that digs and burrows in the earth. Here's some items from Europe. This is an adder snake, and it has rough scales on it. This is a snail. This is a jackal. A hedgehog. A gastropod. A squirrel. And a wood mouse. And the wood mouse and the squirrel are rodents. There's lots of rodents everywhere. In Central America, we have an opossum and an armadillo that has scales on its back. And this is an axolotl. I think that's how you say it. I never saw one. And it has gills so it can go underwater. And this is a great horned owl. And it says it's nocturnal. That means that it's mostly active at night. Also in Central America is a bat and a beetle. And the bat can find the beetle by echolocation. That means it sends out a signal that bounces off that the bat can hear. Here are a male and a female duck, and they're calling them dimorphic. I don't know what that means. I'll have to look it up. I guess that they look differently. West Asia is a yak and an onager, which is like a donkey kind of, and an ibex. And the ibex has horns, and it grazes and eats the grass. Next, we're going to look at invertebrate. And here's a scorpion and a camel spider, which they call arachnids, which is like a spider, and a locust, and a dung beetle. And they're invertebrates. They have no backbone. You and me, we have backbones. backgrounds. In Australia, we have a water dragon, which is a reptile. We have a cassowary, which is a very big bird. And we have a crocodile. And we have marsupials. That means their babies are kind of carried along with them, sometimes in a pouch. And they are mammals. A koala, a wombat, and a kangaroo. The kangaroo jumps. Jump, 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 jump. Yep. And here's a platypus. And an egg. I guess platypuses lay eggs. In the Antarctic, it's another cold, snowy place. There's penguins. There's nematodes. There's seals. And an albatross bird. There's krill, that are very small animals that swim under the water. And there's a whale. And they're showing that the whale has blubber, which is a big layer of fat to keep itself warm. In South America, we have a jaguar. Some people call it jaguar. We have piranha fish. And there's a school of piranha fish. That means there's a lot of them. And piranha fish have big teeth. And monkey, what do monkeys sound like? Woo, 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 woo. Kind of like that, maybe like an owl. Ah, ah. Maybe that's a monkey. Here's a catfish and a big snake, anaconda, and a frog. And the frog comes from larvae. And tadpoles, that's called metamorphosis, when the frog keeps changing and growing up. In Africa, we have lions and cheetahs and gorillas and elephants. And these lions are called apex predators, just like the cheetah, because they prey on other animals, and they're kind of at the top of the food chain. Here's a giraffe and a monkey with a prehensile tail. That means they can hold on to things with their tail, just like you can with your hand. And here's a pangolin, and when it gets defensive, it curls up into a ball. In East Asia, they have a bee and an atlas moth and a sun bear. They have an orchid mantis and a cobra and a macaque monkey. Macaque monkeys are social animals. They stay together, and the orchid mantis can mimic what a real orchid looks like, so that other animals that are looking for it only see a flower. Here's in the oceans, we have a shark, we have a sea cucumber, a sea urchin, and a starfish. Oh, look, on the shark, there's a dorsal fin on top, there's a pectoral fin on the side, there's a pelvic fin towards the back, and a ventral fin, and a caudal fin all the way at the rear. This is a gulper eel, and zooplankton, and a sponge, and a blob fish. In the shallow seas, we have jellyfish, crab, lobster, shrimp, and these are called crustaceans. And we have a colony of clownfish and coral, and they have a symbiotic relationship. The clownfish lives with the coral, and they help each other live. That was a lot to learn in 100 animal words. I hope you learned something new. I did for sure. Talk to you soon.